How's everybody doing? And we're back again with another episode of Until I'm Famous. And I guess this week has been pretty good. You know, I'm doing a podcast. I'm doing a podcast on Saturday now. I don't know how I feel about that. I want to do it like throughout the week, but like sometimes when I do it on Saturday, it's like I feel like everything's processed over the whole week span of like everything that's done happen throughout the week. Saturday is like when everything comes to process to it, and it's not like you can go out anywhere. You're just stuck here and just listen to this shit. But there's a lot of good things that happened yesterday. Like Jada and Will, they finally addressed it, which I felt like they shouldn't have, but they did. They finally addressed the August Alsina situation, and my take from it is like, they did what they were supposed to do. It was very calm. Like it's amazing, right, to see how calm Will is to like just sit there and just talk about his wife being in a relationship with another man, just casually. Because it was so funny. Because like everybody, because I know you see the memes of like everybody talking about the entanglement situation, but I love how Will like didn't back off. He was like at her neck because she kept saying entanglement. He says, "What's an entanglement?" And she goes, "A relationship." Okay, so you guys is in a relationship, not an entanglement, a relationship. And he kept pressing, but it was beautiful. Like it's like, and you could tell it's like, because honestly, they really shouldn't address, because it's really none of their business. But August kind of like made it. That's what I'm saying. He did all that shit. I just felt like the timing of it, because they even said like the timing of it was a little weird, because I mean the timing was weird. Like, oh yeah, album coming out, so you talk about this and something that happened like 4 years ago. But hey, you do what you do, and they addressed that shit, and it was beautiful how they addressed it. Like I love the fact that they was just real calm about it, and you could tell they talked about it, but they was like so far ahead, because like everybody's like shocked that everybody's their perfect couple was not perfect. Like, because everybody thought she had cheated on him, or they had an open relationship, and come to find out they was actually broken up. How funny is that? Right? Everybody thought it was an open relationship, and people always asking like, do you still want that Will and Jada love? Nah, I still take that love over some other loves that I see. Women are weird and difficult sometimes, especially to understand. But I love how they handled it though. It was really on some king and queen shit, honestly. But it's so funny, right? It's like people like fucking making all these jokes about it, and I'm like, I mean, it's good jokes, it's funny, but is it really funny though? How y'all life looking? No, but whatever though. Jokes are meant to be said. Jokes are meant to be said. Like if you're supposed to make a joke about, I feel like you should be able to make a joke about anything. I feel like nothing's off limits. Like nothing's off limits. That's how I feel like nothing's off limits. I don't really think anything's off limits. Like anything can be off limits. But when you go too far. But like I don't think anything is off limits when you're making jokes like that. And hey, them jokes gotta fly. They gotta let them bitches go. They was letting them go. All like yesterday. I know you seen like it was a funny one. It had a what August sees, and it was like a photo of him and Jada, and then what Jada had seen, and it was just a tangled up cord. But nah, they gotta let them jokes fly off, and that's funny though. It's good. It's good. I wonder how August feels about this, because he said that because he thought he was icy, and they came out and addressed it. But the funny part about this is August really thought that she was gonna leave her husband to be with him. Like I don't understand what was your thought process on that. Like that it never happened. Like it'd be so, because I know a couple of friends that may have messed around with married women, allegedly. We're not gonna convict them guys, but I know a couple of friends that allegedly have done that, and they just be so shocked when a woman goes back to their husband, like, just how could she do that to me? Like, we had a good thing. Yeah, but she didn't marry you. she has a full-time commitment to this. I mean, because you may be with her all the time, but she still goes home to him. He's gonna be there, and he knows her. He's gonna be there. So it's not shocking, but it's It's so funny though that because he thought he thought he was gonna take Jada Pickett Smith away from Will Smith, and they was gonna be and she was gonna be August. I mean, she was gonna be Jada Alcina, whatever the fuck that nigga's name is. Either way, it didn't happen, and it's I think he got egg on his face. It's funny. It's funny, because he really loved her. That's not funny. That's not funny. All right, I'm done. That's pretty mean. That's pretty mean. But on to other situations. Pop Smoke's album had came out. His posthumous album, the one that 50 Cent executive produced, and everybody was like fucking like everybody's happy, and it's a good album. It's not a bad album. Like, it's really good. 50 Cent executive produced. He did it for free, and I guess he gave all the proceeds to the family. And it's a beautiful thing to see that being done. Like, to see, cause like I don't know if I'm the only one to get the feeling sometimes, like when certain people die, people forget about them. Cause like I for some reason, if like the family wasn't really taken care of, if somebody die, like a certain rapper dies, I think people forget about who they are, like who about their family, about the other people that they're taking care of. Like that's why when Patricia O'Neal had passed, right? Patricia O'Neal passed in 2010. Patricia is my favorite comedian. I love him more than anything. He's like one of the he is somebody that I would want to meet, dead or alive. Like, I would love to meet him, and I think Patricia O'Neal is he's a legend. That now he gets his credit, but when he was alive, he really didn't get his credit. So, when Patricia O'Neal had passed away, Bill Burr throws a annual Patricia O'Neal benefit show, and he gives all the proceeds to the family. And I think that's like, doing that is like something that's like I really appreciate that. Like, I would, like, if somebody that's close to me passed, I would love to do that for them if that was the case. Like, let's say I'm friends with Dave Chappelle, which is highly unlikely. Well, not pretty dope. I may be able to meet Dave Chappelle, but if I'm friends with Dave Chappelle and he passes away, I would love to throw a benefit in his honor and then able to provide for his family. But that's that's why I appreciate what 50 did, and that was a beautiful thing for him to do. And they dropped Pop Smoke's album, and it's not a bad album. It has like a lot of A-list features. Even 50 got on it, because 50 don't even rap like that no more. He got on that she wanna fuck with the woo, and that was it's a nice little tune. It's real good. His album is good. But you know what? I'm just gonna be honest here. It's like, it's a good album, but it's not a Pop Smoke album. And let me explain that, because the reason why we like Pop Smoke was because Pop Smoke was different and original, and he did everything. Like, his beats that he rapped on was like, he rapped on UK drill beats and made that and brought that shit to the mainstream, because it probably was already in the mainstream, but Pop Smoke really put a highlighter on it, so everybody knew Pop Smoke from fucking with those drill beats. And he's he dope. Like, his like, if you listen to like any of the Meet the Woo, you would see why Pop Smoke has this kind of fan base, and why that fan base was getting built. Pop Smoke was such an individual in this music, and it was like something that was like, we wanted to hear album, because we knew that album was gonna be different. And it's in the album that he this album, which it may have been what Pop Smoke was gonna put out, and I think 50 Cent probably just added a little bit of touches to it, but who really knows? But we know Pop Smoke's music to be how very individualized. But the album that he came out with, and I don't want to, because I think it's a good album, but it sounds pretty, all right. So, because I'm trying to be correct here, because I don't want to come off like as a fucking, as a sack of shit with this. But it sounds like every good album that came out within the last 3 years, right? It's not that it's nothing that I was gonna say, wow, this is a fucking classic. But I felt like if Pop Smoke was alive and he added his little stuff to it, it might have been a classic. But it's good. It's a great album. But it's not like it's not a Pop Smoke album. It's a industry album. And industry is not bad. I like some industry songs, but sometimes it's do you want to make music appeasing to everybody else, or do you want to be you? The album that Pop Smoke dropped was very appeasing to everybody, and that's good. That's good. you know. But I really want to hear that original Pop Smoke shit. Like I want to hear Invincible. Like I want to hear fucking, Element. I want to hear that, But I'll take it. I'm glad they did that for him because a lot of times people don't get that opportunity. You know, they just Juice World had dropped a album, like I think, or was it on Thursday? And well, look here, I don't fact check. Let's say it's Thursday. So Juice WRLD dropped the album, and I haven't checked it out because I don't really listen to Juice WRLD like that. So, but I heard it's really good, and so I might listen to it, might give him a shot because I was like late to the party because I was late to the party because I didn't listen to XXXTentacion. I have not listened to I didn't listen to XXXTentacion when he was alive. I didn't. I'll be honest with you. I didn't. I just didn't like all his antics, so I said, you know what? I don't fuck with him as a person, so I'm not gonna listen to it. That's how weird I am. Like, if I don't like somebody as a person, I'm not gonna listen to their music because I can't stand the fact that like I don't like this motherfucker as a person. I'm not gonna support this motherfucker. So, but that's how weird I am, right? So when XS was dead, I finally checked out a song, and I checked out a song. I was like, wow, this motherfucker was dope. He was dope, and I'm finna do the exact same. I don't want to be this. I felt dumb because like what took me so long to get to this because his music is dope, and I was one of the motherfuckers that was like, if you asked me probably like 2 years ago when XX was alive, yo, what you think about that XX song? Like, if you don't get that, why the fuck would I listen to that? Now I'm changed. I understand that his music is good now, so I'm gonna give Juice WRLD a shot. I'm excited about that. Hopefully it's good. I want to like it. I'm not gonna look into it as like going to it like I want to like it because usually I go into shit. The reason why I go into shit till I want to hate something. I always go into everything that I want because I want to hate it, and and the reason why I go in that because I want to be surprised when I don't hate it, and that's I don't know. It's weird because like if I go into it when I want to hate it, I'm gonna hate it. But if I go into it and if I want to like it and I don't like it, I'm gonna be very disappointed. But if I go into it, I want to hate it, and I hate it, I'm not disappointed. But if I want to like it and I hate it, it's gonna be tough. But I'm gonna give Juice WRLD a shot. And they said his album made motherfuckers cry. I I don't really know that much music that really can just make me cry like that. Like, nah, yeah, I'm not. Well, hopefully it makes people cry. This because I guess that's the kind of artist Juice WRLD was. I never was really a fan, but hopefully. Like, I ain't gonna lie, it was like one shit that kind of got me a little bit emotional. It was like on that last Rick Ross album, Port of Miami 2, was that Nipsey Hussle verse. It made me like, I didn't cry, I just got like a little bit like, damn. Because I think that was like his last verse that he actually like recorded, because guess Ross sent him like 2 weeks before he passed. He was in the studio with him. Because Ross and Nipsey, like, I love the fact how Ross and Nipsey, like, they was real cool with each other. Like on this Nipsey's like album or mixtape, that was an album though, honestly. Crenshaw, Ross was like really the only really major act. A lot of motherfuckers that was on that album was like LA people, but Rick Ross is the only really major act that was on it. Rick Ross always showed love, and that's one thing that's why I like when Ross had because Ross always kept in touch with Nipsey, and I like seeing that. So when Ross had him on that Port of Miami 2, I wasn't expecting this verse to go in like that, and that got me excited because like one thing I love about Nipsey was his style was unique, and and he wasn't like one of the motherfuckers that was just mumbling. He was really spitting that shit, and he had his own little style, his own little flavor, and it was you felt everything he's saying. Like when a rapper, you feel everything he's saying. You can't fault it. You can't say nothing about it. It's just something that you feel. That's how I feel about the Nipsey shit, and it sucks that he's still not here, and I'm still shocked that like I can't get a Crenshaw 2 no more. Like I selfish as fuck as I may sound, because he has a family and shit that he has to that people that miss him more than me. But I do miss this man's music, man. And Victory Lap, that album, I'm glad it got its just due when it was like I'm glad it blew up like that. I'm glad that album really started. I'm glad that album put him on the map of like, okay, this motherfucker's dope. Because I found out this motherfucker was dope off of Crenshaw. I remember when I was I know who put me on the Crenshaw. He know who he is. He put me on the Crenshaw. He said, you gotta check out that Nipsey. I'm like, what you mean? And I just went to go download off Dat Piff. Shout out to Dat Piff, illegally. Well, no, it's legal. Whatever. I downloaded off Dat Piff, and man, that mixtape, I bumped that shit for like a good 3 or 4 months. I still bump it now, but like I'm talking about straight. I wake up and bump it straight. Like, and me and one of my homies, We used to go. We used to, every single time I say something to him, I used to always say this one Nipsey Hussle bar. Like it was what he had said on Face the World. He goes, "You say Nip ain't hood, what? Like I wouldn't take it to the back with you." And that was something that we always used to say. But I just selfish as I may be, I do feel like I wanted another album. And hopefully, hopefully he got something in the works. Hopefully, I would love to see that. I may get emotional if that dropped, like another Nipsey Hussle album. Like that would make me emotional. And like, so I've been wondering, right? I know it sounds weird, but all right, so you know how everybody consensus, like everybody agrees on something, right? And naturally when everybody agrees on something, you kind of want to disagree. I don't know why. For me, or maybe it's me. Every time everybody agrees on something, I just for the love, like just want to be like, I don't fuck with it. It's just something that's it's just I don't know. So I've been thinking, I don't believe Dr. Dre is the greatest producer. Like I'm talking about like hip hop producer. I'm not talking about like R&B. I'm talking about just producer. I don't think Dr. Dre is the greatest producer, and I can explain to you why. You probably don't care, but guess what? It don't matter. I can tell you why. And if you're mad about this, you have a very rightful reason to be mad. But I think there are multiple producers better than him. Like a bunch of producers better than him. I think Dr. Dre, the only reason why Dr. Dre is so good because he was the first to do it. But I think times now, man, these motherfuckers are just fucking dope. Like they are, man. Like I don't think Dr. Dre can fuck with Madlib. I don't think Dr. Dre can fuck with Jay Dilla. I really don't think he can fuck with RZA. Like, let's be honest. All right, RZA, DJ Premier. I know I'm coming off real disrespectful. I know it's coming off real disrespectful because I'm just saying all these names and I'm not acting like Dr. Dre don't have hits. Okay, commercial success is good, right? But Dr. Dre got more commercial success because he worked with bigger artists. But if you've seen like what Madlib's done with, I wouldn't say marginal talent, but people who are not that big, you wouldn't think twice too before you say that. Because like, imagine if Madlib got to work with Eminem or Snoop Dogg, Tupac, Ice Cube. Imagine how that shit would have sounded. It probably would have elevated them to a different stratosphere. But you would never know that because it doesn't happen like that. So you are who you work with as a producer. And but I think it's a bunch of more producers not a bunch more, but I don't think he's the greatest. I can't say he's the greatest or the GOAT of it. I mean, it's this guy named Knowledge. He's a producer. And this motherfucker is like he has his own little style where he'll take a song. Like he makes certain songs better. Like let's say he'll take a song that like the first time I found out about him, one of my producer homies, he had put me on. He had told me about this song called, because 50 Cent back in the day had this song called Nobody Likes Me. He took the song Nobody Likes Me and just put his own little style on it, and the song sounds completely different from the 50 Cent song, but it sounds better and it sounds unique. And I'm like, I can't see Dr. Dre doing that. I can't see. And I know Dr. Dre is a legend, and I know he's a legend, and I know he can't rap. I know he got his own ghostwriter, which that probably doesn't mean anything. But I'm just saying, Dr. Dre can't. I don't think he's the GOAT to me. I think Kanye West is better. Pharrell, I think Pharrell would eat Dr. Dre up in a beat battle. Kanye West would kill Dr. Dre in a beat battle. Because Kanye West would kill Dr. Dre in a beat battle. And me being biased, this is really coming off very disrespectful. And I don't want to be disrespectful to a legend, but I'm just going to say some shit that I think people think it, but they just never say it. And Manny Fresh, because I'm biased, I think Manny Fresh should get Dr. Dre. I mean, okay, all right. Maybe I was being a little facetious with that one. I'm gonna start disrespecting Dr. Dre, but that little GOAT status that or the pedestal that they put him on, I don't think he really. I think there's a couple motherfuckers that passed him up a little bit, not like commercially, but I think they passed him up in like sound. But hey, to each his own. Dr. Dre is Dr. Dre. He's gonna be a legend, and that's Dr. Dre. I just feel like he's not the GOAT that everybody says he is. What? This is your king, yeah. But so now that I'm just sitting there wondering, because after going off a Dr. Dre rant, I don't think people are really gonna be there for that one. So I was thinking about this for a second. Like, what kind of success would you want in life, right? So what is successful to you? Is successful becoming commercially famous, like Dr. Dre, or just successful to you is being able to do what you want, and do what you want and not have a problem with doing what you want, being able to do being able to step out and then not worrying about the problems or anything like that. And I think, like, when it comes to time when you really get to thinking about it, that's where that's where you really gotta address, because I look at certain artists or certain comedians and shit like that, and I go, in my mind, I always ask myself, like, hey, man, they could have been bigger, or like they could have been bigger, or they could have been that, or they could have been this. And I'm saying that shit because I recognize the talent, and I see the other motherfuckers that make it, and I'll go, like, how did they make it? But they don't make it. But then it's a deeper understanding. It's like, you might not even know what the fuck they want. They might just fucking. That's what they call success. Being able to have a fucking fan base that will fuck with them on a go day-to-day basis, to the point where I don't have to worry about shit because I know they got me. But it's all to the artist. Now, to me, because I think what I would want, I don't think I would want to be that big and famous like that. I mean, I would like to see what it's like. I just want to see just watch it from the outside, see what it's like. I watch it through everybody else though, because would I want to be able to? Would I be able to take the mantle like Kevin Hart and become the biggest guy? The biggest comedic rock star that he is. Would I be able to take that? Or would I want to be a Dave Chappelle, where everything I do, I'm pretty much in silence, but I whatever I do, I move the culture. Would I want to be able to do that? Or would I just want to be the perfect middle guy, like the perfect guy in the middle, where I can have, like, I have my little runs here. It was a comedian named Pat Cooper, right? Pat Cooper had said this shit. He said, as a comedian, you don't want to get because he's a comedian from back in the grip, right? I probably talked about this on another podcast before about him, but Pat Cooper says, as a comedian, you want to have a flow. And he says you want to have, your little high spots there, but you want to just and basically just consistently being, you, and able to, like, push it out there. And I'm like, okay, but let's say you putting shit out there, and I'm thinking, like, if the shit that you're putting out there is consistently good and you're consistently getting better, blowing up you may just blow up automatically. And then let's say you blow up doing what you want to do. And everything that you're doing is something that you said you're going to do. You don't have a problem. You don't have a meter at your neck. Do you step away from that? Because that's not what you wanted, but you got it anyway? Yeah, I mean, that all causes, like, a thing about it. But success is like a thing that success is scary too. Success is like fucking terrifying, because you see the high that it puts people on. You see what it does to people. You see how people's mindsets change. You see how all that shit, everything just changes everything goes different, right? Imagine you being a guy who everyone hated, who you didn't have shit, you was homeless, you slept on the floor, and everybody treated you like shit. And then now you in a situation where everybody looks at you as a savior, and you're the man. Everybody needs you. If they have anything to say, they say, what does he think about it? Do you think like you gotta be able to handle that? You don't know if somebody's with you because of you, or they with you because of your success. But that's all depends on. I'm not talking about like actual success. I'm talking about like just because I'm thinking, like, with success, hopefully money comes. Hopefully you're rich. So you may not know somebody maybe with you because of your success or something like that. So I think that's a scary thing, you know. I'm scared of success, honestly. But I think that's a perfect way to end this podcast. All right, you guys. Thank you guys for listening. And I'll be back again. Hopefully, I'll be back earlier this Saturday. I think it's a little bit later for me to do it, but I'm going to be back. And thank you guys for listening. And you guys have a great one.